part that you all don't know that's sneaking up on you.
Yes, sir.
See, they're getting you ready for a half black, half white Messiah.
Yeah, that's right.
They know that all black ain't gonna get it, all white ain't gonna get it. They're gonna give you somebody look like something in between. I know a nigga look like that down there on Fulton Street. But he gonna have a face that both sides can get next to. They say he disappears and appears inside of crowds. Sound like a sorcerer to me. Not no savior. Got a white man that walks from town to town talking about this man. It's public relations. Yeah, public relations person. And he has, he comes in to sell Maitreya, you see. The problem is that there are things that are not being sold as well as told to you. And I'm gonna give you the hard sell from a metaphysical side. You all hold on to that side. Brothers and sisters, the marketing genius behind this ecclesiastical snuff film is that in the end, all denominations of Christianity will benefit from it. In the end, all other denominations will become a little more Catholicized. That's the secret behind most of you Christians out there you don't know. That Christianity is being slowly turned Catholic. All forms. The Reformation is dying. It's in its death throes right now because most of the preachers have accepted evangelism. Evangelism is the connection between Catholics, Zionists, and the so-called Catholic Church. They've come together in a whole new kind of beast. It will attract most other non-religious viewers simply by virtue of a morbid curiosity, like slowing down to view a massive car wreck. In fact, if you were to run this movie through our culture's psychogenic filter as a way to gauge its impact on the public psyche, it wasn't the Christ that was being abused, it was the audience that was being abused. The witnessing faithful. This movie, brothers and sisters, with its special effects and sophisticated cinematography and makeup, is just that, a movie with special effects. Think about it. No one in this movie actually suffered the so-called Passion of the Christ. It was makeup, sound effects, and cinematography. What the audience felt was more real than what these actors portrayed. Check the science. What the audience felt was more real than what the actors portrayed, especially with the scourging and crucifying of Jesus. And thus the real torture was actually inflicted on the psyche and subconscious of the poor bastards who came to witness this pornographic bullshit. The Passion of the Christ was a mind fuck for the millennium. It was a blockbuster attempt to resuscitate the waning corpse of Catholicism, to pump new life into Catholicistic Christianity for the wayward sheep to feel good about the real message of Christ. This movie was a reconditioning process, a tool to distract and to numb the wavering faithful to the real abuses being heaped upon them by the parasitic elite who are the orchestrators of our slave-based reality paradigm. In fact, it is the beaten and bloodied sight of Christ that abuses us for 2 hours, to beat us into psychological submission, to make us feel guilty for being so miserable a sinner, and compassion for one more white man on the screen who came to earth from heaven to suffer just for us slobs. This kind of mind control through the exhibition of sadomasochistic blood feasts is not new. Christians are fond of saying that the Aztec, Mayans, and other ancient high civilizations were savage cultures forged upon theologies of bloodlust and human sacrifice. But the Passion surmounts all of that and all of what we could have imagined these cultures achieved with our viewing of this audience by way of emotional pornography. Brothers and sisters, the Catholic cult of Christianity is a blood cult, plain and simple. They have butchered and exterminated, enslaved and eliminated more lives and more cultures than all the natural disasters of the past 2,000 years. Christianity is a blood-feasting cult, benignly and aggressively, literally and figuratively. Let me say that again. Christianity has butchered and exterminated, enslaved and eliminated more lives, more cultures than all the natural disasters in the past 2,000 years. Christianity is an unnatural disaster. Christianity is a blood-feasting cult, benignly and aggressively, literally and figuratively. Their sign or their symbol is a beaten, suffering man, nailed and hanging from a cross, with a spare wound gaping from his side, dripping blood. Do you get a clue? He is an icon of shame, guilt, and a vivid warning to anyone who would reject or resist the Vatican's temporal laws, which state that the Pope is the vicar of Christ, the representative of God on earth, and thus the infallible temporal ruler king of all humanity on the planet. A film adapted for the screen by Mel Gibson. A fanatic arch-Catholic that the true Church of Christ was hijacked by Jewish forces with Protestant liberal ideologies. Gibson and his father believed that the throne of Peter has been vacant since the death of Pope John the 23rd, that all subsequent popes were actually perpetrators and interlopers who are bent on destroying the true Church of Christ, the enthroned Antichrist. Beloved, anyone who has viewed my tape, The Aristocracy of Evil Part 1, can see that the Passion has Jesuit skullduggery written all over it. Mel Gibson, as a rabid Orthodox Catholic, he has never mentioned in his interviews that he is intimately connected with something called the Sub Rosa Society, known as Opus Dei, the younger version, the smaller version of the Jesuits. A Jesuit exercise refers, the Passion has all the earmarks of what is called in the circle a Jesuit exercise. What is a Jesuit exercise? A Jesuit exercise refers to the time when an initiate, a Jesuit initiate, his imagination is being coerced and is subjected to feeling, witnessing, yes, and experiencing the pain and suffering of Christ. I tell you, every time we whip up the storm, some shit happens, right? I want you to get a book called The Rulers of Evil by Tupper Saucy. Tuppersussy. Tupper Saucy. It's a book called The Rulers of Evil. Saussy. In it, you will read that Ignatius Loyola, anybody heard that name before? I know you know, I told you all about that scumbag. Y'all heard about him. Been telling you all about him a long time. But see, a lot of people don't know what the Catholic religion, they've been quietly doing shit on the world stage, and nobody has been paying attention to them because they put the onus of their madness on everybody else.